Hello everyone and welcome back to Light Up Tech. I'm Will and I'll be showing you through the Nintendo DSi and disassembling it to get to these LNR buttons, which are notorious for just failing to work after a certain amount of time. And so we'll get to fixing this. This one in particular is not broken, but I'll show you through a process in which you can fix yours. So you'll need some tools. You'll need a Phillips 00 screwdriver, and for good measures, if you really want to simplify your disassembly process, you can get a pair of tweezers and a spudger. You don't really need these other two, but they make things way more easier. And one more thing, I highly recommend you get a little box like this where you can store your screws. You can pick these up in like Walmart or anything, and they're a couple bucks, so it's way better to spend a couple bucks and have your device just not able to assemble back. Anyway, let's get started. So make sure your device is off. Now let's get rid of the stylus and any SD card or video game you have loaded up. In this case I don't have an SD card in here. Let's flip it over. There's these two little nubs over here that you'll need to get rid of because there's screws underneath. So you can kind of pry it off with your fingers, I guess. But you can also use like a pair of tweezers or something. They usually do the job pretty well. As you can see, it's really tiny. Let's categorize it over here. Alright, now that that's done, take your screwdriver and then remove the battery cover. These screws on the battery cover are recessed, or not recessed, but have washers in them so that they stay put. And you can get at the corner and remove it. Then there's a little nub over here in which you can remove the battery. Alright, so there's several screws. All these screws over here are the same size except for this one. This one's the only outlier. So let's remove each and every one of them. Right, this is the hard part. Now, right over here are the seams where you'll need to remove the bottom and top, separate them. There's also a ribbon cable in there in which you really don't want to break. So be careful when you're removing these two halves. So, we can start, this is where a spudger really comes in handy. We can start right around here. I've already taken this guy apart a couple times, so it's a little easier for me, but it might be tougher for you. So if you navigate right along the side with the spudger, you'll be able to separate the two halves. You can probably use like a credit card maybe, or like a something, or even a flathead screwdriver. But yeah, as you can see, this guy is separated, and then right in here is the ribbon cable. It's a tiny guy. Let's see, yep, it's right in there. So you'll need to set this guy down, then take something in there, or your finger, and just, I'll need to get a better angle. Alright, so you'll need to remove the ribbon cable in here. So it's right in the other, right in here. I don't know if you can see it. Here it is. It's right over here. You need to remove it. Lift up very gently. These things are very fragile. And there. It's way easier to remove than to attach. Alright, now that if you remove the two halves, we'll set this one aside. You're focusing on this one. And so, right over here is the right trigger button and the left. My bad. Anyway, so they're connected with these two things right over here. To remove each one is a different process. For right side, there's this whole assembly with the SD card reader and the stylus holder that you'll need to remove, but the left one you just have these two things to remove. So let's do that. So let's start off with this right side. We'll need to remove the screw right over here, and then with use a pair of tweezers to do this. We don't really need to, just to remove this part. Next, there's very tiny components in here, but we're not focusing on that right now. So for now, we'll need to remove the stylus holder. And here we go. And now we got this whole assembly left. So I'm not gonna do this right now because it's unnecessary for me. But you're gonna need to remove. Well, let's show it anyway. You'll need to remove the assembly for the trigger button, like so. You need to remove this tiny piece over here that keeps it stationary. You're gonna need to remove the button itself and the spring. And also let's get the screw out. So that leaves us with the assembly. Let's take the button itself and the spring. Notice over here with the spring, you're gonna have to know that right in here is where you're going to put the spring right here when you reassemble everything. So let's just keep them together and put it aside. So right here is where the button is usually very faulty. So you're going to need to take some alcohol, like with a Q-tip or something, and just go to work on that. It's usually these things fail because of dirt being built up over time in this tiny button, and it just gets lodged right in between the button and the side. So you'll need to clean it out with some alcohol for about a couple minutes, and then you should repeat it a couple times just to be sure. But yeah, so that's the right trigger button. Now it's time for the left. Left is way simpler. So this screw right over here is what connects this black plastic securing piece. So just remove it. And this popped out right in front of me, so yeah. Then once again, this is where a tweezer would come in handy. Just remove the tiny securing piece right over here that keeps the button together, and the button itself with the spring. Oops, this guy just went over here. So once again, just hold this together and go to town with alcohol and clean it out. Alright, time for the reassembly. So let's start with the left. Take your button and the spring, and it's kind of hard, but you're gonna have to put this right back here and let it stay still. It's a learned process, but yeah, I found that you just leave it vertical and it just automatically lines up. Then take the tiny piece of metal that keeps them together. Just plop it in there. Let's zoom in just so. Right over here. Just drops in. And then, so we take the black plastic piece and just do this, do like so. And just place it right in here, and then take your screw and screw it back into place. Right, time for the right side. This one's going to be a little more tricky, but it's a similar process. So once again, take your spring and the button itself. I can get the spring from the box. Alright, so once again, just place it into this little circle, and you can lift it up, and it lines up. Alright. At this point you might want to take a screw and keep this whole assembly in place. So just screw it in there and then you'll be good. Alright, then time for that tiny piece again. This is really where you want to get a piece of pliers. And this, let me zoom in. So you're going to want to place it right here. There we go. Right now we'll need to take the stylus holder, lift the ribbon cable lightly, just a little bit up, and plop it into place. Just goes together like that. Now we'll need to take this black piece, then with this square over here, just put it on top, align it with the button. Now let's screw everything back up. So take some screws and put them back into place. Alright, now that's done, you should be able to click these things right now. That's a hard part. You change camera angles. Take this ribbon cable with the spudger opportunely, and just, if you bend down, you can really be able to tell if you've got it in or not. There we go. Finally, the scourge is in. Alright, now just fold it up like a book. Put this side first, and then it should click. Alright, let's double check with the snaps. There should be snaps along here. I think you heard it. Just apply pressure on the edges. There we go. Now it's an easier part. Just screw everything together. Alright, so all the screws. Shouldn't have any more screws, like so. And now it's just time to put the battery back. So place it in like so. Put the battery cover and screw it back into place. Last step. Just put these tiny nubs back, just push it in, and you're good. Alright, so let's power this thing on. I think I missed a snap in here. There we go. Alright, let's try the L button. Sweet. How about the R button? Sweet. Let's try it one more time. Good. Alright, I hope my video helped you fix this irritating problem, and I hope you can play your games to the fullest potential again. And yeah, I'll see you around.